afternoon, Register Mail Facebook viewers. This is Rebecca Sismarski, the Register Mail, and I am here today with Jensen Rehn, a sophomore at the University of Illinois is that Urbana-Champaign?
Yep.
Great, and she's going to tell us a little bit today about her internship, a summer spent at Gettysburg Battlefield, and it was a special year because it was the 154th anniversary of the battle, is that right?
Yes, it was.
Cool. Now just to get started and let people know, why were you interested in Civil War history and interning at Gettysburg?
Yeah, I've always been interested in the Civil War. I've always loved to read books about Ulysses S. Grant and different battles. So I've also always loved the National Park Service. So growing up, my parents really encouraged that love by planning our family vacations around visiting as many National Park Service sites as possible. And through our travels, I ended up visiting lots of places and earning 142 Junior Ranger badges. So basically, it had always been a goal of mine to eventually work for the Park Service in some capacity. So I was kind of familiar with the websites where information about internship opportunities would appear. So I kind of stumbled across the Gettysburg opportunity, and it was perfect getting to work with the National Park Service and then also getting to talk about the Civil War on a daily basis. So it was a really awesome opportunity that I kind of stumbled across.
Absolutely. And when you did apply, how was that application process? Did they have to make you memorize like a lot of stuff, or how did that work?
It was actually a fairly straightforward application process. It involved a resume, cover letter, recommendation letters from professors, and then submitted it all and waited for 2 months for the call to find out whether or not I had received the internship.
Cool. Do you remember when you applied and then when you found out?
I applied at the end of December in 2016, and then I found out in February of 2017.
Kind of a quick turnaround considering.
Yeah, it was fairly quick, but it was kind of nerve-wracking to wait and around not hearing anything.
The waiting's always the worst
Yes,
part, right?
definitely.
How did you feel when you found out you had been accepted?
I was extremely excited. I was in a Civil War and Reconstruction class at U of I last spring. So I had that class later that day, and I was so excited to sit there. Anytime that the professor made any allusion to Gettysburg, I got a little bit excited in my seat. So yeah, I was over the moon when I found out about it.
Awesome. And when you got there then, how was it like to work with people who shared that passion that you had?
It was amazing. It was so much fun to be working with people when you could just sit down in the library and talk about George McClellan's leadership at Antietam or Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, and it was a normal conversation to have with people. It was an amazing environment to be in for 2 months. So the people out there and the opportunities to just talk about the Civil War casually in conversation was really awesome.
That is really cool. Wow. And what were some of your duties then that you had to do as an intern?
Yeah, so I was an interpretive intern, which meant that I was interacting with the public on a daily basis. So I would field questions at the information desk in the visitor center. I helped with evening programs or other special programming that they kind of just needed extra help at. For example, every day there was a children's program, which interns kind of helped rangers with. And then the biggest thing that I did was my own interpretive program. It was 7 years ago, Abraham Lincoln and the Soldiers National Cemetery.
Wow, that's cool. How long did you do that for then during the internship?
Yeah, that started the first Saturday that I worked. I had it. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. I got out there around Memorial Day, and then I started giving that presentation on an almost daily basis starting like June 8th. So it started fairly quickly.
Wow. And I'm curious, how did you come up with the theme for it and get all the facts down for that?
Yeah, so basically the blanket program in the Soldiers National Cemetery, almost every ranger and every intern ended up having one by the end of their time in Gettysburg. So I was kind of randomly assigned to do a program in the Soldiers National Cemetery, but being from Illinois and being from the self-proclaimed land of Lincoln really gave me my interpretive angle for my presentation, kind of taking the idea of the land of Lincoln to a little bit of a broader scale was the plan that I went with when I was out there. So it was really neat to kind of put Abraham Lincoln, who growing up in Galesburg with Lincoln-Douglas debates is present everywhere. You can't get away from Lincoln in Illinois. Putting that into not only a broader national context, but also putting that into the larger narrative of American history was a really awesome opportunity I had with that program.
Absolutely. And I won't reveal too much because I know you're having a presentation at the Sanderson Room this Wednesday at 6:30, so I'll leave you to kind of talk about that. But just so our readers know, what's next for you? What are you hoping in terms of history to take your career?
I'm not really sure. We'll see where I end up. I'm really passionate about public history, so learning about history outside of the classroom. But whether or not that'll be long-term, short-term, haven't quite figured all that out yet. This is a really exciting year for public history in the state of Illinois because it's the bicentennial of the state, so all sorts of fun stuff should be going on throughout Illinois this year. So that's what's next is 2018 and the bicentennial. Beyond that, we'll see.
All in the future, right?
Yes, definitely.
Speaking of the anniversaries, with that 154th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, was there anything cool or different going on, like when you were there, that was unique because of the anniversary year?
Yeah, so the anniversary is July 1st through 3rd. So basically the beginning of the summer is all a lead up to the anniversary, and then afterwards it's kind of downhill. But basically during the anniversary there are more battle walk programs, which are 3 hours long, given by rangers, and interns are kind of just the assistants for those. But those were really neat. I got to help with one of those. And then also during the anniversary, there are real-time programs, which are really exciting because they happen at the place that an event happened, at the time that it happened, on the day that it happened. So those, for example, on July 2nd, they have something on Little Round Top about the 20th Maine and Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. So that's something that's really neat that only happens during the anniversary. So it was really neat to be out there during the 154th this summer.
That is really cool. Think you'll bring any of that to Heritage Days or not?
We'll see. We'll see. That would be really fun.
Kind of localized.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, Jensen, for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. And the readers, like I say, you can check out Jensen's full presentation at 6:30 p.m. at the Sanderson Room at the Galesburg Public Library this Wednesday.